Episode 18, My Dumb Playing Before My Spiritual Awakening in May, 1992. All praises and thanks must go to Allah. I had shown that sports and games are pastimes which leads the players and the spectators away from the more serious things in life. The remembrance of Allah and the means of approach unto Him. I had also shown that the Almighty had aided, protected, and guided me not to become too overly concerned and embroiled in these snares. In view of the questions that begs to be asked. What about dumb? Surely it is also an amusement and play. Why am I playing it? Is there something special about it? What measure if any did the Almighty Allah take to protect and guide me so that I cannot be caught in the snare of dumb? On putting this game of dumb which I play under the spotlight, a few peculiarities becomes noticeable. 1. Dumb is not an international sport. Dumb is not played on an international level, therefore the big money and its vested interests are cancelled out. No international competition means no super sports people. This means it is not necessary to go all out to train for any championship. This factor spells out that more time can be devoted to Allah. Idol worship is also not on the cards because there are no media coverage like the television, radio, and the newspapers, which make heroes out of the players. 2. Dumb is not a national sport. I do not know of a single country in the whole world who plays dumb as a national pastime. In South Africa the game is only confined to the city of Cape Town and its outskirts. This means that on a national level there is no pressure on the individual dumb player to give his best. The fact that dumb is only confined to one region of South Africa, no, not a region but a small part of a region, indicates that there is a great difference between dumb and other competitive sports. This means that the game can be regarded more as a social get-together. This view is enforced when a closer look is taken at the people who play the sports. 3. The dumb players. Another peculiarity of dumb is that it not played by most South Africa. In the small area in which it is confined, dumb is only played by the local Muslim people. I know of only one person of another faith who plays dumb. Albeit this is a man who grew up amongst the Muslims, he mixes socially with them. The Muslims of Cape Town and its environs are mostly comprised of two main groups. The one group originates from the Indian peninsula and the other stems from the Malaysian archipelago. The dumb playing field is narrowed down when it is discovered that it is played only amongst the Muslims coming from the Malaysian countries. By all accounts it is they who brought the sport to Cape Town. Nowadays dumb has also lost out in the popularity stakes. In comparison to the other sports it is only played by a few adherents and very few new recruits. The fact that dumb is only played by the Muslims and a few at that says much. This means that there are some positive factors connected to the sport which must be taken into consideration. 1. Dumb is only played by a few individuals, therefore in light of this it cannot be regarded as a sports event but should be classed as a social gathering. There are very positive connotations flowing from this. A. There are no free mixing of the sexes. Dumb is not played by the women. The only spectators are the players themselves. B. Flowing from this there are no boisterous noise making such as cheering, shouting, hand clapping etc., which are so prevalent at other sports events. Instead light bantering is allowed. At dumb matches there are no imbibing of any alcoholic drinks or the intake of any hallucinogenic drugs. Instead of this the dam host serves the players with the cold drinks and savories such as sweets, cakes etc. Sometimes a meal is also served. D. At the stated times of prayer all dam playing ceases to exist irrespective if there are matches in progress. The players either pray individually or in congregation or go to the nearest mosque. In which other sport if any is this rule so strictly adhered to? may well be asked. After Ismet and I had broken up, I, unlike him, had not stopped playing dam. I was not prepared to do so. I had told my brother-in-law that I had decided to play dumb again. I was not ready to be seen as an unwhimsical person. I stuck to my decision. On the night of my spiritual awakening in May 1992, I was already 1 year into the dumb. I still did not come into my own but managed to win again now and then. Examining my connection to the game of dumb on the night after, with Charliza, I came to a new insight. If I would be the Mahdi of the Mahdi in waiting, would it not be reasonable to expect that Allah Sohai would let my growing and socializing with the people around me be seen as ordinary as possible? What better way than for me to be playing a sport? I had shown this sport of dumb had checks and balances about it, which makes it possible for its participants to be cognizant of their creator. I think this sport was tailor-made to suit my requirement, and Allah Almighty knows best. On further examination, more insight came to the fore. This is the relationship with my fellow dam mates. I grew up in apartheid South Africa. During the time of my spiritual awakening in May 1992, apartheid was still on the statute books. And those days the population of South Africa were divided into racial groups. Over 90% of the dam players are classified as Malay. I, being of Turkish/Kurdish origin, belonged to the dominant group, which was the white group. Everybody in South Africa were brought up to think in racial terms. I was no exception. The white group looked down on all the other groups. Although the Indians and Malays were my co-religionists, I never ever mixed with them on a social level. I was taught that they were different to me and inferior. It was only when I had grown up and after members of both these groups had married into my family that the barriers started to come down. My dumb playing further eroded it. I discovered that these people are very hospitable. In time I came to love them and take them as my own. This does not mean that there were not any differences between us. Differences there were, because we came from entirely different backgrounds. The beautiful part of this is that the other players did not notice it. Praise be to Allah the Almighty, who had endowed me with an easygoing nature. I can easily blend into any group, no matter what label they attach to themselves or what dogma they adhere to. I am proud to say at various stages in my life I had mixed as an equal and as one of them with most of the population groups of South Africa. Allah Sohai had deemed it fit to create me with a light brown complexion so that it was easy for me to accomplish it. With the cordial nature with which I had been blessed, in combination with free mixing and blending in with other groups, I had learned something valuable. People all over the world, wherever they may find themselves, whatever language they speak, whatever religion they may follow, no matter the color of their skin may be, they are all the same. It stands to reason that a Mahdi should love all people and should be loved in return. Praise be to Allah. Had received further training in this regard a few years later when I walked up Africa on my way to the Holy Lands. Thank you Allah for creating me and preparing me to mix freely and without restraint amongst all people. I shared all this information with Charliza. She said this is another difference between me and other people. We got up and out of our chairs and jumped for joy.